Good morning everyone. I am Priyanka Fulsundar, Assistant Professor IT Department. In my previous video, we discussed about Enhanced Entity Relationship Model and its type. And in this video, we discuss about key and types of key in DBMS. Topics are covered in this video like what is key, then why we need a key, also types of key and comparison between primary key and foreign key. Now, first we discuss what is key. Key in DBMS is an attribute or set of attributes which helps you to identify a row in a relation. Row is nothing but tuple and relation is nothing but table. Okay. Also, it allows you to find the relation between two tables. And key help you to uniquely identify a row in a table by a combination of one or more column in that particular table. Also help you to finding unique record or row from the table. Here this is the best example of key. In this example, employee ID is a primary key. This employee ID is a primary key. Why it is primary key? Because it's uniquely identify an employee record. In this table, no other employee can have same employee ID. Next one is why we need a key. Here are some reasons for using SQL key in the DBMS system. First one is key helps you to identify any row of data in a table. For example, in real world application, a table could contain thousands of records. So the record can be duplicated, okay? And this key ensure that you can uniquely identify a table in that identify the table in the record, okay? Also, it's allow you to establish the relation between identify the relation between two tables, and it help you to enforce the identity and integrity in that particular relationship table. Now here we discuss different types of key and each key has different functionality. So first one is super key, second one is candidate key, third one is primary key, fourth one is foreign key, fifth one is secondary or alternate key, sixth one is simple key, seventh one is compound key, and eighth one is composite key. Now we will discuss one by one. First key is super key. A super key is a group of single or multiple keys which identify row in a table. It's identify row in a table. A super key may have additional attributes that are not needed for unique identification. Okay. See in this example, employee SSN and employee number. This employee SSN and employee number are super key. Okay. Now the next key is primary key. Primary key is a column or group of columns in the table that uniquely identify every row in that table. What is primary key? It is a column or group of columns in that particular table that uniquely identify every row in the table. Okay, and the primary key can't be a duplicate. It means the same value can't appear more than once in a table. A table can't have more than one primary key. Okay. Then rules for defining primary key is nothing but the two row can't have the same primary key value. Two row can't have same primary key value. Okay. The second rule is that it must be for every row to have a primary key value. Every row must have primary key value. Then the primary key field can't be null. It can't be null. And the value in a primary key column can never be modified or updated if any foreign key that refers to that particular primary key. Now the best example, see in this table, student ID is the primary key. Okay. Next type of key, that is alternate key. Alternate key is a column or group of columns in a table that uniquely identify every row in that table. It's uniquely identify every row in particular table. And a table can have multiple choice for a primary key, but only one can be set as the primary key. All the keys which are not primary key are called as alternate key. See in this example, student ID, roll number and email. This student ID, roll number and email qualified to become a primary key. Okay, but since student ID is a primary key, roll number, email ID becomes an alternate key. Roll number and email ID, it is a alternate key, and student ID, it is a primary key. Now the next type of key, that is candidate key. Candidate key is a set of attributes that uniquely identify tuples in a table. And candidate key is a super key with no repeated attributes. The primary key should be selected from the particular candidate key. Primary key should be selected for the particular candidate key. Every table must have at least a single candidate key. Every table must have at least single candidate key. And a table can have multiple candidate key but only a single primary key. Then properties of candidate key, such as it must contain unique value. Always remember, it must contain unique value. Also, candidate key may have multiple attributes. It have multiple attributes and must not contain null value. It's not contain null value. It should contain minimum fields to ensure uniqueness. It always number of fields to ensure the uniqueness, and uniquely identify each record in a table with the help of candidate key. Now see in this example, student ID, roll number and email. This student ID, roll number and email, these are the candidate key which help you to uniquely identify the student record in the particular table. And roll number and email ID, these are alternate key, and student ID is the primary key. Okay. Now the next type of key, that is foreign key. Foreign key is a column that creates a relationship between two tables. Always remember that foreign key is a column that creates a relationship between two tables. The purpose of foreign key is to maintain data integrity and allow navigation between two different instances of an entity. Also, it acts as a cross-reference between two tables. It acts as a cross-reference between two tables as it is reference the primary key of another table. See in this example, we have two tables. Department code and teacher ID. Okay. And teach and department in a school. So, no way to see which search work in which department. So, when we are adding the foreign key in these two tables, with the help of this table, adding the foreign key in department code to the teacher name, we can create a relationship between two tables. Here we can add the foreign key. Okay. And the concept is also known as referential integrity. This concept is also known as referential integrity. Now the next type of key, that is compound key. What happens in compound key? Compound key has two or more attributes that allow you to uniquely recognize a specific record. And it is possible that each column may not be unique by itself within the database. So, when combined with the other column or columns, the combination of composite key become unique. And the purpose of compound key in database, that is uniquely identify each record in the table. See in this example, order number and product ID can't be a primary key. This order number and product ID can't be a primary key as it does not uniquely identify a record. So, compound key of order ID and product ID. Order ID and product ID could be used as it uniquely identify each record. Okay. Now, the next type of key, that is composite key. Composite key is a combination of two or more columns that uniquely identify row in a table, and it is also combination of column that generates uniqueness through individually uniqueness is not generated. Okay, and they are combined to uniquely identify record in a table. Now the question is that what is the difference between compound key and composite key? So the difference between compound key and composite key is that any part of compound key can be a foreign key, but the composite key may or may be not a part of the foreign key. It means that compound key can be a foreign key. Compound key can be a foreign key, but composite key may or may not be part of the foreign key. Got it? The difference between compound key and composite key. Now the next type of key, that is surrogate key. Surrogate key is an artificial key which aims to uniquely identify each record in a table. It's called as surrogate key. And this kind of partial key in DBMS is unique. Why it is unique? Because it is created when you don't have any natural primary key. Surrogate key is usually an integer. Always remember that surrogate key is usually an integer. A surrogate key is a value generated right before the record inserted into a table. Always remember it's generated right side before the record inserted into a table. Now see, in this example shows that shift timing of different employee, and a surrogate key is needed to uniquely identify each employee. Okay, and surrogate key in SQL are allowed when no property has the parameter of the primary key, and second one is in the table when the primary key is too big or complicated. Got it? When to use the surrogate key if no property has the parameter of primary key, and in the table when primary key is too short, too big or complicated. Okay. So the next topic is difference between primary key and foreign key. Primary key uniquely identify a record in a table. Always remember, primary key uniquely identify a record in a table, and foreign key is a field in the table that is primary key in another table. Also, primary key can't accept null values. In foreign key can accept multiple null values. In primary key, by default, primary key clustered index and data in the database table is physically organized in the sequence of clustered index, and in foreign key do not automatically create an index, cluster or non-cluster. You can manually create index for the foreign key. Okay, and we can have only one primary key in a table. Always remember, we can have only one primary key in a table, and we can have more than one foreign key in a table. In this video, we discuss about what is key, then use of key, then also we discuss types of key and difference between primary key and foreign key. Hope so everyone understand the concept. Thank you so much. Keep practicing.